Hi, I'm Dr. Andrew Chappelle, and today I'm going to do a short video on goal setting and motivation. So let's get into this. Now, one of the reasons why people fail to reach their goal is because they don't have a clear understanding of what their goal actually is. And if you don't know what your goal actually is, then it can be very difficult to get yourself motivated to follow any particular training program or to follow any sort of dietary program. So one of the things that we always try to do here at ProPrep is to give people really clearly defined goals that are important to them. And if we can do that, then we can create an emotional attachment to a goal, and we're much more likely to follow the dietary plan or follow the training plan or get the sleep as part of the plan, and then therefore succeed at our goal, than if the goal is not our own or if it's a little bit wishy-washy. Now, I've started on this slide here. This information is available on our educational materials, but it's the difference between what we call intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. So you can view this in lots of different ways, but intrinsic motivation is motivation which comes from within. It's motivation which is essentially really important to you. So for example, I lift weights myself because I enjoy it, because it's fun for me, because I have a personal development goal that I want to be better at lifting weights. I want to look a certain particular way, and I've got dreams and aspirations to be the best athlete that I can possibly be. Whereas on the other hand, there are extrinsic factors, and these are factors whereby you might be doing particular lifting for or following a goal for prizes, for bonuses, for benefits, for money, for rewards extrinsically from there. So you can see there's a clear definition of someone who might be doing something because they love doing it, whereas on the other hand, you might have someone doing something because other people will love them for doing it. And between the two different types of motivational factors which are out there, it's very, very clear to psychologists that the extrinsic motivation factors, these are the most powerful factors of all, which are more likely to get that person up at, say, 5 or 6 a.m. in the morning to go and pursue their cardio or prepare their boiled chicken and broccoli and do the thing, rather than the extrinsic, which might not matter to them as much. Now, all things being said, the combination of the two can be extremely powerful. So if you've got someone who is extremely motivated internally and they've got an external reward at the same time on top of that, then that can make a very powerful combination of things to help someone to get towards a goal. On top of that, you have different types of motivation. You've got what we call task orientation and ego orientation, which can fit into the same sort of scheme. And this is whereby you've got a situation whereby somebody's motivated by the task again, and you can see how that fits onto the intrinsic overlap. And that is, you want to be excellent at pursuing a skill, be the best at doing something, and be known for being particularly good at a craft or a skill or a lift or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve. You want to break a record for your own sake because you want to be known to be the best at that. Ego orientation is slightly different. Again, that's whereby you're doing things for the reward. You're doing it for purely the ego, the status associated. Again, this type of orientation is not as strong as the skill-based task orientation. Again, though, the combination of the two can be extremely powerful. And if you think about great sportsmen and women down the years, we've got Venus and Serena Williams who want to be great at a task, but also they've got large egos as well. And the good example of that is they like being in the limelight and they don't like losing. Other sports examples are your Michael Jordans of the world, your footballers like Cristiano Ronaldo, great world-class athletes, but also want to be known as the best. Now, in terms of my own motivation, I can talk about my own story here, but I always wanted to be a bodybuilder when I was younger. In my late teens, when I fell into it, my superstar heroes were guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Frank Zane, Sylvester Stallone, and it was really important for me that I, as someone who was smaller in stature, got more powerful, got stronger at the same time, and that was really important. So one thing which can be really useful for you is if you visualize your goal in your head and you think of something that you want to look like, and then once you've visualized how you want to look, you can, at the same time, you can sort of think about how will you feel when you look like that? How will it change your life? And I knew that if I looked like one of my heroes, say a Frank Zane here that you can see, what a fabulous physique, that would change my life in terms of people would respect me, they would respect my stature, I would have good self-esteem about myself, I would be more attractive to the opposite sex, and men would respect me at the same time. It would also back up my credentials in terms of my understanding of sports and exercise science and nutrition, and open up doors in terms of business opportunities further down the line. And also because I'm a competitor, I love sport and I love the pursuit of sport. That was something that motivated me. But being able to visualize the goal and think how it would change my life was something that I was able to attach real attachment to. And I knew that my life would be better once I felt that particular way. So whatever your goal is, if you can think about the ideal body that you want to have, where you want to be, and you can really think about how you want to, how your life will change associated with that particular goal, then that can be an extremely, extremely powerful thing. Now, in terms of, again, creating attachment to things, once you've got the visualization of the goal in your mind, you need to set some actual smart objectives. You need some goals. So a good example, I always think, is the marathon running. So 26 miles, people running a marathon race. And we want to create a roadmap of how we're going to be able to achieve this this marathon race, this great feat that we're trying to do. So go through these things and read these in your own time. But certainly if we've never ran before, then running the marathon, or if we've never climbed before, climbing Everest, it can be quite a daunting thing. So the thing what we want to do is we want to break things down into chunks. And that means breaking things down into long-term, medium-term and short-term goals. So the first thing we need to do if we've never ran before is we want to run 3 times a week. Once we've ran 3 times a week, maybe in the medium term, so 3 months from there, we can work up to and we can maybe run a 5k. Once we've managed to achieve the feat of a 5k, another 6 months after that, we're maybe going to run our first 10k. And then if we can achieve a 10k feat, then it becomes possible for us to go on and we can achieve our half marathon 12 months down the line. Then I'm aware some people meet these expectations much quicker, get to these milestones quicker, but you can see how that works there. You've got a logical progression along the way to get to the half marathon, and obviously the next step after that is the full marathon. So any goals that we have to set, we always want to make sure that they're specific. So if we want to run a marathon, then it's important that what we do is that we have goals set around running. So there's no point doing lots of skiing, there's no point doing lots of swimming, although these things might help in their own way. We really want to get on pounding the pavements and running from there. So the goal's got to be specific. We have to know what it is that we want to actually do. It's got to be measurable. So another thing that we might want to do is we might want to say, okay, we're going to run, for example, 4 kilometers per session, and by week 10 we want to make sure that we've run 6 kilometers and have achieved that milestone. It's got to be achievable, so it's got to be reasonable. It's not reasonable for me to say go and run a marathon in 3 or 4 weeks' time after 2 weeks of training, but after 12 months of training, it's definitely achievable. And again, it depends on your own fitness background. It's got to be realistic. This is something that a lot of people, I think, have problems with. It's the making sure that they can actually get to goals which are realistic, which fit in with people's lifestyles. And I've encountered this many times where I've had people come to me and they say that they want to do competition preparation, but they're going on holiday, they've got a wedding coming up, plus a couple of stag do's, and they want to do the contest in 4 months' time, but they've got all these other things along the way. And I've just got to say to them, look, with that sort of schedule, there's clearly other things going on in your life which are perhaps going to get in the way of you being able to produce your best results. So it's got to be realistic. If you've got 3 kids you've got to look after and you can only work out for 30 minutes a day, 3 times a week, it's not to say that you can't make some nice progress, even following some sort of limited plan, but you're probably not going to be able to step on stage as a competitive bodybuilder that year. It's not realistic. And then the final thing we're looking at is something has to be time-based. So we have to put time restrictions on it, deadlines. You have to have achieved certain things by certain dates from there. So goals have always got to be smart. Finally, again, it's a roadmap. We've got to review the goals. Once we achieve certain targets, we've got to make sure that we go back and that we approach the goals and we go again to make sure that we can continue to progress forward on our roadmap. Now, one thing that we've got at ProPrep to help you get motivated and help you along with your goal setting is we've got the goal setting document. And if you go along the tabs, you can see I've got this document here called the Roadmap to Success. And at the top here, I've got the SMART objectives. I've also got across the top here the what are the non-negotiables, things that have to happen every single day, and then obstacles and barriers you might have to overcome. So there's a date up here. You double click on this, choose the date, and then you've got a date in which you're going to review the exercise. So it should be 6 months down the line. Now I've put some examples on here. By no means this is an exhaustive list, but for many of us that are working with ProPrep, they're looking to either lose weight, go for a strongman contest, or to enter bodybuilding contests. So that would be a long-term goal. Thereafter that, a medium-term goal might be that we're looking to keep our body fat levels around about 20 to 15%. And then in the short term, it's maybe we've got injury issues, so we've got to improve our flexibility. We've got to make sure that we're always completing our training sessions if that's an issue, and we've got to eat all our meals on plan. Now, if we achieve these things, it'll feed into these things, and we'll achieve this. If we manage to achieve these, then it feeds into this. So again, it's sequential. We've all got obstacles and barriers. So what are your obstacles? And it's no point just complaining and talking about how you can't achieve something. It's what are your potential solutions? Very simple things. So sometimes I have clients saying to me, Andrew, I can't do cardio at this time of the day. I find it really difficult. And I just have to come back to them and say, well, why don't we just do it at a different time of day? And they go, oh yeah, I never thought of that. Or why don't we just move it to the weekend that we do the cardio? And would that work? And they say, yeah, I never thought about it like that. So there's always solutions to different things, and we can get around. And these are some obstacles here that I've put down, along with some solutions. And then what are your non-negotiables? What things have to always happen and you can't get out of happening? There's always things in life that we don't like doing. There's always chores, but we have to do these chores. So take a look at some of these as well. Now, one of my clients who's got a very clear vision of what it is she wants to achieve is Katie. And I've got her sheets up here, you can see. And Katie's put down what her non-negotiables are, what her medium and long-term goals are. And she's been very clear on absolutely everything. So you can put as much detail into these things as you want, but she's got a very clear vision in her head of what it is she wants to achieve, how she wants to look. She's very motivated, and doing exercises like this, like I say, can be very helpful for helping you establish that clear motivation and helping you understand where it is you need to improve so that you can go on and you can help meet those goals. So do the exercise, check it out, and good luck, and hopefully we'll be set up to help you achieve your goals for ProPrep in the immediate and obviously long into the future. I'm Dr. Andrew Chappell. Thank you.